products, two binomials have been multiplied to give you this number. So again, on the number 12 is who remembers what you need to do to find out, who knows what to do to start? What do I do with this number and this number?
You do multiply?
Yeah, but we technically don't multiply, but we're going to put them together as if we're multiplying. Okay, so that's going to be, we're going to find the factors of this, okay, such that they sum to the -9. Oh, yes, they're going to sum, but because that's a negative, Trinity, we're getting out this worksheet from Friday, the 5-13. Right. But because this last number is a negative, we've got to subtract our factors to get that. So we said that I would start with, and I really need a pencil to do this because this is kind of trial and error at this point, is it could be a 3 times a 3, and this could be a 2 times a 2. And I don't think it's going to be either of these, because if I did this times this, it's going to be 6, that times that, it's going to be 6, and the difference of that is 0. So that is not a good combination. So I'm going to maybe start with the 4, and instead of 2 times 2, I'm going to make it a 1 times 4. So I'm going to make it a 1 times 4. So I think I know what it is. So 3 times 4 is what? 12. 3 times 1 is 3. Is that a difference of 9?
Yes.
Yes. So we can start right there. So I'm going to darken this up. Again, you should, Joelle, you should write this down so you know how to do it, because this is the work that I'm expecting to see. If you have no work, you're not going to get the credit. So then I can go ahead, and it is it's the S. So here, this was my first term, that 9. So we know it's going to be made of 3x times 3x. So 3S. That's going to go here. Is it S? Yes. 3s. Thank you. Times 3s. And I also know I'm going to end up having a positive and a negative. But I'll go ahead and put the next one. So 1, 3 went with a 4. So 1, 3 went with a 4. And the other 3 was multiplied by a 1. Okay. And so when I multiply my inside, I get 3s. When I multiply my outside, I get 12s. And we need more negatives. So where should the negative go, with the 3 or the 12?
12.
With the 12. So again, what gave us this 12 was this right here. That has to be a -4 times a positive will give us a negative. And then you can quickly look. And by the way, KJ, I emailed the video. Did you see it this weekend? Did you see the video that I mailed you? Yeah, okay. All right. So it was how to do these problems. So it's 3 times 3. We can look at it by eye. That's 9 squared. +1 times -4 is -4. And again, the inside and the outside will give us that. So this is the correct factorization. And then 3s minus 4. We'll finish probably these 3. Let me see. These get really big. I don't know how many of those we're going to do.
Let's do the back. Let's do this one.
These? Well, you're going to do some of those in just a second. But I want to go through a few more of these. So let's see what you got for the number 13. Okay. So for the 13, again, we're going to take 16 times 1, 16 times 1, such that our middle term had to come to a positive 6. And again, because that last sign is a negative, it means we're going to take the difference to get a 6. So I like this one because there's only one way to get a 1, which is 1 times 1. There's many ways to get this. There's a 1 times 16.
8 times 2.
There's a 2 times 8. There's a 4 times 4. Which one do you want to start with?
2.
I don't want to do 4 times 4 because I can almost tell if it's 4 times 4 and 1 times 1, my difference is going to be exactly the same. So I'm not going to use that one. I hope everybody understood what I meant. If it's 4 and 4, it's going to be 4 times 1, 4 times 1, 4 minus 4 is 0. It's not going to be that. So if it's not that one, what do you want to start with? I'm going to start with 2 and 8. That's a good combination. So we're going to start with 2 times 8. I think that might be it. Who knows what to connect with what?
2 and 1 and 8 and 1.
Very good. So 2 times 1, 8 times 1. Because 8 times 1 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. And the difference is that 6. So there we go. So then we're going to go ahead and start. We know that, again, it's a W. So here are my first 2W and 8W. That has to go in the parentheses. 2W times 8W. And then the 2 was multiplied by a 1. So 2 and the 1, which, by the way, we'll just go ahead and put it. That's 2W. And then we did 8 times a 1. So 8 times a 1 would give us the 8W. And then let's see what we have to have more of. We have to have more positives. So which one of these is going to get the positive? The 8 or the 2? The 8. And let's see what made the 8 were these two. So I can't change the sign in front here, but I can put it right here. And then the other one's going to get the negative. So this one comes to positive, this one comes to negative, and that difference would be our 6. So you should have gotten 2W plus 1, and then 8W minus 1. And you didn't have to do 14, so get that one down. We'll go to the one, actually the other one that you had to do, because I hope it was pretty easy. So on the number 15, again, you take, for the first one, because there's a coefficient there, 22 times 3, but we're not actually going to multiply it. And by the way, this is a positive, so I know my factors when I get them, or my products, are going to sum to 17. In fact, does anybody know in the parentheses, in our binomials, who thinks they know what the signs are going to be? Such they multiply to be a positive, but they sum to be a negative 17. Who thinks they know what the signs are going to be? Not one of you? No?
Oh, minus and plus.
Well, positive times negative would give me a negative, but I've got a positive.
Oh, negative and negative?
It's going to be negative and negative. All right. So here's our first and our last. So there's only one way to get the 3, which is 1 times 3. There's 2 ways to get this one. 11 times 2, is that going to do it?
Yes.
You think so? Okay. Because it has to sum. Oh, I think it's going to work. It has to sum to be 17. I think I see it. Who thinks they see what we should multiply the 11 times?
1.
Very good, Joel. 11 times 1 is 11. And then 2 times 3 is 6. And do those sum to 17?
Yes.
That is it right there. So, yeah, but we'll get the signs in just a second. But I do know that our first term is going to be 11x and 2x. So you, a z. Why am I saying x? So 11z times a 2z. Okay. And it's a terrible z. Okay. So 11z times 2z. And then the 11 was multiplied by the 1. So that 11 is going to be multiplied by the 1. And the 2 has to be multiplied by the 3. And so then, Joel already said that both of them had to be negative for you to sum to a negative 17. So let's just double check it. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6z. And then the outside, negative 1 times negative 11 is negative 11z. Such that that comes to a negative 17. Which is that? So your answer on this one is right here. And that's it. Okay. And then we're going to take on this number 14 when you got all that laid out. I don't like 14 only because of that 40, because that 40 could be 1 times 40, 2 times 20, 4 times 10, 5 times 8. And if I do it the way the book tells me, they say to actually multiply the 21 times 40, and hold on, where is that? Is if I go 21 times 40, oops, that's not it, 21 times 40, that would give me 840. Then I have to factor it out to see what's going to give me a 58. So I don't like this method. And then we don't even have the answer because we have to do factoring by grouping. So let's stick with this way. So let's take the 21 times 40. And again, you should be showing this, and I'm looking to see who's writing and who's not, because I'm giving you a daily grade based on your class participation. So it's going to be 21 times 40, such that the middle has to come to a negative 58. And who knows how we're going to get this negative 58? Is it going to be the sum or the difference? Well, look at your last sign. It's a negative, so it has to be the difference. If it was like this last one, it was the sum. But this is going to be the difference of our factors is going to give us 58. So there's a lot of trial and error on this one. So who wants to try? What's that? You think it's 10 times 4? Okay, well, let's try. All right. I think she's right. Oh, my goodness. Okay, almost. Because I was looking at this because that gives me an 8. That gives me 28. 3 times 10 is 30, but that difference is only 2. So at least with these numbers, I'm going to just switch what I'm connecting to what. So I'll connect 3 to 4, which is 12, and 7 to 10 is, I think that's it,
70.
Is 70, and that difference is 58. Very good. Wow. Yeah, that's really good. Okay, 3. So again, let's mark that again. So we went the 7 times 3, which gave us 70, the 3 times 4. So we already know that our front number, it's going to be M. So the front number are going to be these two in the front of each of our binomials. So it's going to be 3M times 7M. And we'll worry about the signs in just a second. And then we know the 3 was multiplied by the 4. So 3 times the 4, which is 12M. And then the 7 was multiplied by the 10. So the 7 is going to be multiplied by the 10, which is 70M. And we need more in the middle. It's a negative 58. Where should the negative go? With the 70 or the 12?
70.
With the 70. So that means it went with this one. And you never put a negative in front of this first term. So it's got to be this one here. And this is positive. So that gives us the negative 70 and the positive 12, and that does come to negative 58M. Very good. Wow. Right. So go ahead and put that answer down. And that's going to be 7M plus 4. And then, okay, here's your job. So let's flip it over to this page. Okay. The harder ones are going to be like This is prime. The 2 is prime. These are going to be easy. 2 is prime. Both of those are prime. 7 is prime. 2 is prime. The harder ones are going to be like the number 5. So I'm going to start with the number 5. And again, you do need to use your paper to go ahead and start setting up. So on the 5, we're going to take our 6 times our 1. So again, 6 times 1, such that the sum, in fact, it's a positive, so we're going to sum it to be a 5. So, who wants to guess how we're going to break up that 6? I think 2 times 3. 2 times 3, and 1 is just 1 times 1. And this is an easy connection. So 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 1 is 3. And that does sum to the 5. And everything is positive. So everything here is going to be positive. So again, it's U. So 2U and 3U. And then the 3 was connected to the 1. And the 2 was connected to the 1. So that should be it right there. So I'm going to put that down, put 2U plus 1 and 3U plus 1. And let's see how you do this puzzle. So you're going to find one of the parentheses in one column. You'll find the other parentheses in the other column, and it's not necessarily in order. So I'm going to look first for 2U plus 1.
7.
I don't see 2U. So I'm going to look for this one.
7.
Oh, that is, okay, there it is right there. So here's the 2U plus 1. And the other one then I'm missing is the 3U plus 1. It's right here. So where you see a 7, you're going to put the letter S. So where you see a 7, you're going to put the letter S. Let's go down to all of these are positives at the end, which means you're always going to sum your products to get your middle number. Most of these are negatives, so you're going to take the difference. So let's see, let's do this one with the 6, the number 16, and then I'm going to let you go on your own. So number 16, again, is going to be 6 times 1, my first times my last, such that the difference, because that's a negative, such that the difference is going to be a 5. So the 1 is still 1 times 1. Who thinks they know this time how I should do the 6? Shout it out if you think you know.
2 times 3.
Well, it's going to be 6 times 1. Because if I did 2 and 3, and those are 1s, my difference is going to be 3, 2, it's going to be a 1. It's not going to work. So it would be 6 and 1. Okay, so again, 1 times 1 is 1. 6 times 1 is 6. That difference does make a 5. So we can go ahead and start putting right here. It's going to be a T. So here's our front numbers, 6T and 1T. 6T and 1T. And then we know that it's going to be both of, at the end numbers are 1, 1. And we need, to get a negative, we need a positive and a negative. And we need more positives. So who thinks they know? In fact, I'm going to rewrite this. 6T, 1, 1T, 1. So if I do my inside, it's 1T. If I do my outside, it is 6T. And I need more positives. Where should the positive go? With the 6T or the 1? With the 6T. So that means this is going to be the positive, and this here is going to be the negative, which would give us a negative. So it's going to be -1 and +1. So I'm looking for T plus 1. In fact, it's right here. So here's our T plus 1 is here. And then the other one I'm missing is 6T minus 1, which is right here. So the 13 is going to go with the L. And I would number it here, so in case you need to go back. Does that kind of make sense, people? All right. The rest of them, there's a few that can be done two ways, like the 4, the 9, the 10, the 8, but the rest of them are primed, so it should be easy. So at this point, I'm going to let you go ahead and get started. Go in order in case I decide to take any out. Let me see, we get out of here at 20. Yeah, you've got about 24 minutes. I bet you can get a lot of them done. This is the only side that you need to do. And you can